Born in a cramped Taipei neighborhood and built like a man who moves mountains with snacks, Tsai Eng-Meng rose from running his father's small canned food shop to becoming one of the most powerful and most polarizing figures in Greater China. This is the story of how a rice cracker hustler turned a family business into a cross-strait food empire, then used that fortune to buy influence in media and politics, refashioning not only an industry but the conversation around Taiwan itself. Tsai's origin reads like a business parable. The son of a modest canned food entrepreneur, he skipped the conventional university path and threw himself into the family firm as a teenager. Where others saw limits, Tsai spotted a gap: lighter, crunchy snacks made from rice that would appeal across East Asian palates. He reinvented the product lineup, turned production into a science, and in the 1980s launched the Want Senbei rice cracker that would become the brand's talisman. Tsai's early moves were simple but relentless: product refinement, partnerships with Japanese confectioners to improve technique, and an obsession with consistent quality that let Want scale. Those small decisions multiplied into factories, distribution networks, and the huge retail footprint that allowed Want to enter mainland China in the early 1990s. China was where Tsai's gamble paid off exponentially. While many Taiwanese brands tiptoed into the mainland market, Tsai poured capital, localized products, and provincial factories into a continent-scale strategy. Want didn't simply export, it adapted flavors, built local manufacturing, and targeted everyday moments: tea breaks, kids' snacks, household staples, so the brand became practically synonymous with casual Chinese snacking across tens of millions of consumers. That consumer reach, combined with vertically integrated production, turned Want into one of the most profitable snack conglomerates in the region, and gave Tsai both the cash flow and the confidence to expand beyond snacks. With industrial scale and an appetite for influence, Tsai made the next move that would define his public profile: media. In late 2008, he acquired the China Times Group, an old and respected Taiwanese media institution, and, shortly after, folded television and other outlets into what became the Want China Times Media Group. For a food tycoon, buying a newspaper and TV channels might seem eccentric. For Tsai, it was strategic. Control of outlets meant control of narratives, softening or amplifying messages about cross-strait relations, business policy, or political actors. The acquisition was widely reported and marked a turning point. Tsai was no longer just the billionaire who sold rice crackers. He was a media kingmaker with a cross-border business footprint. Money and media combined to make Tsai a fixture on billionaire lists. Over the last decade, his net worth has swung with market tides. Want's fortunes in Hong Kong and China, property holdings, and diversified investments, but Forbes and other trackers consistently ranked him among Taiwan's richest people. That wealth gave him the freedom to operate on a scale most corporate owners never reach: philanthropy, political donations, legal teams, and the deep pockets to buy, defend, or reshape outlets when controversy hit. Controversy, of course, followed influence. Critics accused Tsai and his media empire of moving editorial lines to favor warmer ties with Beijing, an especially sensitive charge in Taiwan, where identity and sovereignty debates are never purely academic. International watchdogs and local critics documented a pattern: lawsuits and defamation complaints used against journalists, editorial shifts that softened criticism of certain cross-strait policies, and a public perception that Want's outlets were part of a broader effort to shape Taiwan's information ecosystem. Tensions peaked at various flashpoints, most notably when one of the channels in the group, CTiTV, was denied a renewed terrestrial broadcast license in 2020, sparking debates about media freedom, regulatory neutrality, and whether license denials were politically motivated or a response to alleged biased coverage. Whether you view Tsai as a savvy builder of national brands or a backroom manipulator of public opinion often depends on where you sit in Taiwan's political landscape. But to reduce Tsai to a caricature of pro-Beijing media mogul misses the operational ruthlessness that built Want. His business playbook combined product obsessiveness with shrewd partnerships and an ability to read regulatory and market currents. Want's product portfolio, rice crackers, dairy, drinks, sweets, was diversified to ride consumption waves. The company invested heavily in manufacturing, automation, quality control, and brand marketing. The red and white want mascot became a shelf icon. Tsai also internationalized the business by listing subsidiaries, attracting foreign investment, and building distribution networks that translated small product margins into massive absolute profits simply through volume. That is the kind of scale that breeds billionaires. Low margins, huge throughput, and relentless cost discipline. Tsai's personal style, nimble, blunt, and unbowed, matched his corporate one. Public portraits show a man who prefers results to ceremonies and who is comfortable making unpopular decisions if the long-term payoff is clear. He is not a CEO who courts the limelight for charisma. He courts it to protect assets, to shape markets, and to secure a legacy. That legacy is complicated. On the one hand, he transformed a family company into a global snack brand that employs tens of thousands and feeds millions. On the other hand, his media ownership reshaped debates about journalism, corporate power, and foreign influence in Taiwan. These dualities make him fascinating, infuriating, and impossible to ignore. There are human dimensions too. Tsai's investments in community initiatives and corporate philanthropy rarely match the splashy headlines of his acquisitions, but they are part of the story. Factories bring jobs, and brand recognition brings both pride and economic activity to towns where plants operate. At the same time, lawsuits and regulatory battles show a willingness to deploy legal muscle to protect reputation and reach. Those tactics have sometimes chilled local reporting and triggered policy responses aimed at preserving media plurality. In the end, Tsai's actions have forced Taiwanese society to grapple with an urgent question. When a single private actor has significant reach across commerce, culture, and news, how should democracy safeguard impartial information without weaponizing regulation? So where does Tsai Eng-Meng stand now? He is part industrialist, part media titan, and wholly a product of the era when brand scale and political influence can travel together. Want snacks are still an everyday presence from Taipei to Shenzhen, but the narrative he shaped around media ownership will likely be his most enduring public imprint, because shaping what a population reads and watches can alter markets, elections, and national self-perception. Whether future historians judge him as a brilliant industrialist who broadened cultural ties, or as a power broker who blurred the lines between commerce and information, will depend on how Taiwan and the region regulate media ownership and how the public chooses to interpret influence. If you step back, Tsai's life reads like a modern Asian epic: entrepreneurial grit, the strategic leap into a gigantic neighboring market, and an audacious purchase that transformed him from a snack maker into a media baron. He rewired industries, first by making rice crackers a cultural mainstay, then by buying the megaphones that shape opinion. For better or worse, his story is a reminder that in the 21st century, brands can be more than products. They can be platforms for influence, and a platform, once built, rarely stays neutral. That's the core of Tsai Eng-Meng's arc. Small starts, big bet on China, mastery of manufacturing and distribution, then a high-stakes play for editorial influence. His life is an instruction manual in asymmetrical advantage, how to convert everyday consumption into extraordinary leverage, and a cautionary tale about what happens when economic power and information control collide. Whether you admire him, distrust him, or sit somewhere uncomfortably between, his fingerprints are all over modern Taiwanese business and media history.